So, does the Mohu Leaf Plus indoor amplified HD TV antenna connected to a WinTv Quad HD PCI Express tuner card allow me to watch and record over-the-air television? That is the question, and the answer is yes, for the most part. It has worked pretty well. At first, it was a little rocky, but here's a little sample. As you can see here, it comes in a little bit spotty at times. It'll for a few minutes it'll be like this, and then it'll be perfectly fine for an hour. So here for the first minute or so it was kind of rough, but then it cleared up for the rest of the episode. So here I put up this leaf antenna in the window as high as I could get it, facing east, because that's where the towers are located. They're about 25 to 30 miles east of me. And then there the antenna plugs into the back of the PC, the USB and F connector. So there's the box, and it came with a manual telling you how to set things up. So it comes with the antenna, the power injector, the 12-foot coaxial cable, and then some push pins to tie it to the wall or whatever. There, instead of backup TV, I put it on the back of my computer, but same principle applies. And I bought this off eBay for about $30. It said it was both used and brand new, so I'm not sure if it was slightly used, open box, but these are the stations I got. So the Mohu Leaf antenna picked up 8 stations, signals from 8 stations about 30 miles east of me. So I placed the antenna in the window facing east. And I could have picked up some signals about 40 miles south of me if I put it in a window facing south, but I didn't, so I couldn't pick up those stations. Might as well just pick up the ones closest to me. So each station multiplexes their signals. So basically there's a primary signal, and as you can see, the top row there, so the stations are the ones in boxes. So from left to right, you have WJBK, which is Fox. WDIV-TV station is the NBC affiliate. It doesn't have the NBC logo, but the local 4 is an NBC channel. The WXYZ TV station is an ABC affiliate. WMYD TV 20 is an independent, so it's not actually affiliated with any of the major networks. And WPXD TV is an affiliate of the Ion Television Network, which is also kind of separate from the major networks. And then you have WKBD TV, which is affiliated with the CW. Then there's WTVS, which is a PBS affiliate, and WWJ TV, which is a CBS affiliate. Now, the WJBK Fox and the WWJ CBS stations are actually owned and operated by Fox and CBS. The other ones are just affiliates, meaning they're independently owned. But anyway, each station multiplexes their signals. So there's the primary channel, like Fox, NBC, ABC, etc. And then the other 2 independent kind of networks, WMYD and Ion. Ion's basically just it's like a independent kind of, it just syndicates old police procedurals like Law and Order. They just play like 24-hour marathons of Law and Order. It's pretty lazy TV network there. Then there's these sub-channels, which I am just learning about because I have not watched over-the-air TV since 2009 when it went from analog to digital. Yeah, that's right. I started watching Netflix and all that stuff and never went back. And honestly, I'm not planning on going back. I'm not planning on watching these channels. I just bought this so that I could record some live sports. But these sub-channels are interesting. I mean, they have no relation to the main network. So like Cozy TV, Me TV, Bounce, Laugh, Antenna TV, Grit, Roar, Dabble. They have nothing to do with Fox, NBC, ABC. Like these stations sign contracts with these networks to play their programming on their subchannels. It's not like back in the day when you just had these 6 to 8 stations and there was just one channel per station. Now there are subchannels. But each station kind of has a primary affiliate. So, and that's that top row there. The Fox, NBC, ABC, CW, PBS, and CBS. Those are their main affiliates. But you could say they're also affiliated with the other networks that they broadcast at their station. But the combinations are endless. I mean, in a different region, Laugh might be on a Fox station, Grit might be on ABC. It's not set in stone here. This is just my particular region, how it works out. And also, interestingly, in tiny markets, maybe somewhere up in Maine or Delaware, somewhere, one station might be affiliated with like several of the major networks. So there might only be 2 or 3 stations in that region, and one of the stations might be a Fox affiliate, an NBC, and an ABC affiliate. But where I'm at, there's plenty of people around, so each station kind of has a main affiliate. And sometimes it changes. Sometimes a station will jump from CBS to Fox and whatnot. That has happened in the past too. But yeah, so here, those are the stations that I'm able to pick up, and all the networks. So stations and networks, kind of 2 different concepts. The station is responsible for transmitting the signals to a region. So they own the towers, they put up transmitters, and they broadcast the signals, which go for about 50 to 60 miles. So as long as you're in that 50 to 60 mile region, you've got your antenna facing somewhat near the towers, you'll be able to pick up the signals. But networks, on the other hand, are kind of different. They're the ones responsible for actually creating the shows and creating the schedules, putting in the shows in the particular time slots to appeal to certain demographics. All networks actually need stations, right, to get their content to as many viewers as possible. But technically, in theory, a station doesn't necessarily need a network. A station can make its own programming, broadcast it out to whoever they want. They can just have one tower with one transmitter. Obviously, their reach would be very small, but that's not really how it works. How it works is you have your major networks, and they want to get their content to as many people as possible. So they sign contracts with these independently owned TV stations that have their towers and the transmitters, all the expensive equipment. So they sign the contracts, and these stations will broadcast the content from the network. So ABC can send The Bachelor all across America, right? So each major network tends to have around 250 stations in total, and usually about 10 to 20 owned and operated stations in the major markets like Detroit, LA, Chicago, etc. And then there's tons of affiliate stations. So here's a little diagram that kind of shows the difference here. At the top you have the network, in this case Fox. That is the network, right? It's not a station. It's a different kind of concept. But then you have all the stations associated with that network. At the top you have the owned and operated. There's about 15 of them in the major markets like Atlanta, Chicago, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Tampa Bay, Washington, D.C. But then below that, in kind of a different category, you have your affiliate stations. And like I said, there's like over 200 of them all across the country for Fox, CBS, NBC. They all have their hundreds and hundreds of affiliate stations so that they can broadcast their programming to as many people as possible. And these affiliate stations they're not quite the same as the O&Os because they kind of can make their own programming as well. They create their own live regional news segments that, people from that area would be interested in watching, as opposed to the national NBC nightly news with the well-known anchors, right? You have your local anchors at your affiliate stations. But Yeah, and you can see like the logos are all kind of interesting too. The affiliate logos, as opposed to the owned and operated logos, they're all kind of the same. They just have Fox with the number. I personally like the Fox New Mexico because it has the state of New Mexico uh, enclosed around the Fox logo. But yeah, let's go through the channel list. I got 45 channels in total. 43 because there are 2 repeats technically. The first station, what is it? Gotta look at my notes here. WJBK is the Fox. It's an owned and operated network, owned and operated by Fox. And it comes in, as you can see, a little spotty at first, but it's got 6 sub-channels in total. It's got, of course, Fox. Then it's got Movies. It's got Buzzer. It's got Heroes and Icons. It's got Catchy Comedy and Fox Weather. And channel 2.1 broadcasts in 720p, but all the others are actually in 480i. So this channel here is broadcast in 480i. Same with Catchy Comedy. Never heard of it? It's playing a show called Hot in Cleveland. Whatever that may be. And then you got your Fox Weather. Okay, now we're on to the channel 4 station, which is WDIV TV, which is the NBC affiliate. It's owned by Graham Media Group, apparently. It's broadcast in 1080i. 4.2 is, it says This TV, but it's actually Cozy TV. 4.3 is Me TV. And again, you have Cozy. So 4.2 and 4.4 are actually the same station. Now we're on to WXYZ TV, which is an ABC affiliate. 7.1 is, of course, the ABC station. 7.2 is Bounce. 7.3 is Laugh. I'm guessing it plays a lot of syndicated sitcoms like That 70s Show, which it's playing now. Picture looks pretty blurry there, 480i. 7.4 is Court TV. And 7.5 is Shop LC. Okay, now we're on to 20.1 WMYD TV is the independent station. It just basically plays syndicated shows like Law and Order and whatnot. Doesn't have any original programming, it doesn't seem like. It's owned by EW Scripts, which WXYZ was actually also owned by EW Scripts, so I believe they share towers. 20.2 is Antenna TV. Again, plays a lot of old reruns of much beloved shows, which I've never seen. 20.3 is Ion Mystery, which is on a separate station than Ion for some reason. None of this really, I'm learning about this right now. I have no idea. Like, I don't understand it, why Ion Mystery is on a different station than the Ion one, but it is. Here's Home Shopping Network. Next up, we're on to the 31.1 Ion. So the station is WPXD TV. It's an Ion television network affiliate. So the first one is Ion, broadcast in 720p. Everything else is broadcast in 480i. Ion Plus. I'm not sure what the difference between Ion Plus and Ion is, and Ion Mysteries. I have no idea. Grit 31.3 is apparently it plays old westerns. 31.4 is Defy. No idea what that is. 31.5 is Busted, showing a high-speed, intense car chase at the moment. Driver wanted for traffic violation. Better get him. Get TV, playing the Rockford Files. Never heard of any of these. Game Show Central, playing The Chase. I'm guessing it's from like 2005. Never heard of it. Again, we have the Home Shopping Network, a repeat. And for some reason, it has the Home Shopping Network Part 2. I don't know why you need 2 of them, but they do. Now we're on to the CW, which is WKBD-TV, actually owned by CBS. So it's got the CW, of course. Then it's got Comet, which seems to play a lot of X-Files. Here's playing the Terminator movie. 50.3 is Charge. Here's playing Law & Order Criminal Intent, but seems like whenever I look at the programming schedule, CSI Miami just plays CSI Miami all day, but here it's playing Law & Order Criminal Intent. Just plays old syndicated shows. Nothing original. A lot of these sub-networks just play syndicated shows. I'm guessing just for cash grab. I don't know. See if they can get advertising revenue. 50.4 is Roar Comedy Network. I've seen it play Saturday Night Live. Here's playing Whose Line Is It Anyway? 50.5 is a channel called Nosy, or a network called Nosy. Never heard of that. It's playing Maury at the moment. I've also seen it play Jerry Springer on the programming guide. 50.6 is QVC, shopping network thing. And then we've got 50.7 is MeTV Tunes. Again, I don't know why it's on a... MeTV is on the NBC affiliate, but here MeTV Tunes is on the CW affiliate. Okay, now we're on to WTVS, which is PBS. 56.1. 56.2 is PBS Kids, which makes sense. Finally, something's making sense. Create. And then 56.4 is the World Network. And 56.5 is the Michigan Learning Channel. No idea what that is. 62.1 is the CBS owned and operated WWJ station. 62.1 is playing FBI at the moment. 62.2, the subchannel, is Start TV Network, playing a show called Major Crimes. I've also seen it show Gilmore Girls. So if you like the Gilmore Girls, tune into that station. 62.3 is Dabble, which is kind of like a home improvement, home renovation type network. 62.4 is Fave TV, no idea what that is. And 62.5 is Story Network. Never heard of that either. Now we're back at Fox. So yeah, there was 45 channels, 43 if you factor in that 2 of them are repeats. So yeah, that's what this antenna can pick up from where I'm at. It picks up signals from 5 towers, 8 stations, but actually only 5 towers. So some of these stations share towers. They have multiple transmitters on the same tower. But anyway, the WinTv V10 program here, I'm just going to go through some of the menus just to show what's available. Now, technically you don't need to use WinTv V10 software with the tuner card. However, I chose to just purchase it for $13. But there are open source free software that you can use. Keep that in mind. You don't have to use WinTv 10, but I did. I decided to go with that just because I thought it would, right out of the box, it would work. Whereas a different program, I might have to like mess with settings and stuff. But there's the recordings menu. You can choose where your files are stored. There's the padding quality menu, which you can choose how much pre-padding and post-padding and how the preferences work. I don't really understand how it all works. Now you can record up to 4 shows at the same time, or 3 if you're watching one. And this pre-padding, post-padding might kind of conflict with other recordings. I'm not sure how it all works. There's your devices tab. If you want to rescan for channels, you just hit that tuner setup button, which when I hit it, it actually turned off the broadcast for some reason. So back to our settings menu. There's your all channels menu. Just shows you all the channels you have. You can import channel database, export channel database, move channels up or down to put them in an order of your liking. You can also create favorite lists. Here I have one called My List. And then you can just drag and drop whatever channels. Say you only watch 5 or 6 channels, you can just put them into a list. And then when you're browsing through channels, you only have to go through a couple rather than 45, where most of them obviously you don't care about. So yeah, you can just drag and drop those to the list. And then over on that right side of the screen, you can hit that down arrow. Here it's all channels, but you can pick your list. And then there you only have a few channels where it's not as cluttered. And you can pin and unpin it. So to get that back, you can just right click and hit my find channel, and you can pin it up to the right side of the screen. When you go full screen, it disappears, but when it's not full screen, you can pin that channel menu, which I find convenient. But here, full screen, you see it goes away. Go ahead and mute that from now. I don't need to listen to that crap. You do have parental control options. Now you have to create a 4-digit code in order to enable it, but that is an option. So if you don't want your kids watching mature shows, which I don't believe any mature shows are shown free over the air, but if you were using like a digital cable service, that would be applicable in that situation, because you've got a lot of questionably immoral television shows coming off cable networks. And then in the advanced options menu, you can convert recordings to MPEG files instead of transport stream files. By default, they save, when you record shows, they save as .ts files, transport streams or something. They take up a large amount of space, keep that in mind. So if you're going to do a bunch of recording, you need to have a lot of space on a hard drive. And finally, the WinTv Extend menu. But anyway, here I'll just show some that recording has worked so far. I've got a list of shows that I have recorded, and they seem to have recorded just fine. I haven't watched the whole episode maybe in spots, the signal kind of degrades a little bit, like we saw earlier with the Jimmy Fallon excerpt, where you could see it kind of was a little bit spotty. But it seems to have recorded fine. So again, these files take up a lot. Like, this is a 3-hour football game. It took up over like a dozen gigabytes of space, so keep that in mind. But yeah, apparently, so when I first set up this antenna, I was not getting Fox for some reason. When I did my research, it turns out that the Fox station broadcasts in VHF waves, where everyone else does UHF. So VHF can kind of be iffy at times, and I have noticed that Fox is definitely the one channel that tends to go out more than the others. But I have been able to get it, so that's nice. And also, like, if it'll go out, I'll just like jiggle one of the cables coming out of the antenna, or like try to tighten the F connector, and then it will kind of come back. So I don't know if, because it was a used antenna, that like the connectors are kind of worn or something, or maybe the connector doesn't connect perfectly to the tuner card. But that Fox channel has been a little troublesome, but from the recordings that you can see, I was able to record full football games where it seems to not have any issues. So overall, this antenna, this Mohu leaf antenna, is doing its job, I would say. And it was only like $30, so all in all, I'm pretty pleased with it. It's been working. So there's your electronic programming guide, which honestly, it says update frequency 6 hourly. There's times where, like, yeah, it won't really be updated, and it's very slow to update. So anything in red there means it's recording, but sometimes you'll record something and it won't highlight in red. So there you're it gives you some options when you want to record something: the start time, duration, end time, pre-padding, post-padding. So like if you're recording a football game and you want to make sure, in case it goes into overtime, that you want to catch overtime, of course you would utilize the post-padding setting and put it to as high as you can, like 30 minutes or more, so you can, because a lot of times they only schedule games from like 7 to 10, but if it's overtime, it might go from 7 to 10:45. So you can adjust the post-padding there. And it's got recording quality, which I believe there's only one option in recording quality at the moment. Yeah, as broadcast. At completion, I guess you can shut down the computer. Recurrence, record once daily or weekly. But yeah, just like a typical DVR, you can record shows when, obviously the computer has to be on, but so if there's a power outage in the middle of a recording, obviously that'll screw up the recording. Here, picture-in-picture, you can configure dual window. You can watch several windows at once. Change the aspect ratio, the zoom. The audio stream looks like it's AC3 English, and there's also a Spanish stream. You have closed captioning. There's your TV guide, schedule, and recordings, which we just looked at. Play, pause, stop, that's all on the bottom menu there too. If you click on About, it shows the software version 10.0 blah 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 with extend. I don't know what that means. And if you click on Help, it actually brings up a handy manual, a user manual, which goes over everything, how everything works. So, in summary, if you were wondering if a $30 Mohu Leaf or whatever brand antenna plugged into a Hauppauge WinTv tuner card, how well it holds up, well, hopefully this illustrates that yes, it does. As long as your antenna is preferably in a window facing the direction of the towers. Now, I don't have windows facing south, so there was a few towers like 40 miles south of me that when I went to Antenna website where you can figure out what channels you can receive, it said I would receive those stations, but I don't have like windows or anything to the south of me. I'm guessing if I did, I could put it to the south and then get some of those channels, but as long as you put your antenna facing the direction of the towers and they're within range. Now, this Mohu Leaf Plus indoor amplified HD TV antenna was apparently a 60-mile range antenna, and again, the towers were about 25 to 30 miles away from me, so it has been able to pick up those signals fairly well, as you have seen. Now, I've only had this for a few days, and each day has been clear and calm. There hasn't really been any rain or storms. I'm assuming if there was a big storm, I would not be able to get a clear signal. I wouldn't really expect that from a $30 indoor antenna. So it's another thing to keep in mind if you want to record a bunch of stuff. If you're recording something really important and the weather's bad, you might be out of luck.
Indigestion, Iberogast. Bloating, Iberogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Iberogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you.
Cheddar, A Tale of Two Kitties, Lord of the Fleas, For Whom the Ball Rolls. My kids love these books.
My kids love these books too, but now they're 20 and 17, so they just usually go for the keg. And Jimmy is going to be D, For Whom the